Well, my friends, this is another part in the Minutemen 101 series. It's been a little while, and I've been actually kind of thinking, so I'm going to just ask you this straight up front. If you guys like these Minutemen 101 videos, let me know if I should do them more often, and if I should consider doing my own, like, specific side channel for just the Minutemen 101 stuff. But, and also, with all that being said, too, this is theoretically just for defense. It's not like I'm not promoting anything or any call to action or anything like that. So, anyways, that being said, we'll hop to it. So, camo do's and don'ts. So I see a lot of guys, and I've trained with some guys and such, that has some, major flaws with their camo and gear loadouts and such. And so, I'm constantly trying to correct them, and I do these videos to try to help you all kind of correct yourselves before, you get out there. And so, let's discuss some of the things that you want to look for with camo. Alright, so as you guys seen in the intro, I kind of tried to just blend into some of the woods. I'm just wearing an old BDU top with a multicam chest rig. This is a Marpat Woodland Digital boonie. And my little face gator thing is just some good old-fashioned hunting camo. We'll kind of get in discussion about the hunting camo. Some of it actually works pretty good, some of it doesn't. But what are some of the main things that you need to look for with camo? Well, main thing is obviously try to blend in. So, it's obviously going to behoove of you to try out a few different things and see what works good for your area. Generally, this I find for my area, just this old school, tricolor BDU stuff or old school stuff works really damn good overall. But that's all dependent on your particular area. What works good in my area might not work good for your area. Another thing to really consider is doing away with as much black as possible. Black is obviously there's very few things in nature that is black. That being said, having something to cover your face like a neck gaiter or balaclava, or I can't even say it right, or some people will go with face paint. I hate face paint, but numerous things to cover up your face, because obviously a human face stands out. But back to the subject of black, one of the major mistakes that I see a lot of guys have is they have a solid just black rifle, and that's like the cool tactical SWAT team wannabe shit. But if you think about it, you got a guy in the woods having just that black rifle silhouette, that's going to stand out a lot. So, behoove you to rattle can your rifle. I mean, as you can see, this kind of actually works pretty good, and I just kind of did just a series of gobbled up camo on this. Main thing, just use some earth tones, break it up quite a bit. Now, that being said, if you happen to have black chest rig or plate carrier or whatever you want to rock out, you don't have to go buy a new one. You can just rattle can that shit. Like, it'll work perfectly fine. I've rattle canned gear before. I got some of my gear on me now that I need to rattle can. Like, for example, we'll step back. Now, I am wearing jeans. I'm going to explain that in a moment. But, like this sheath on my battle belt, I need to rattle can that. My holster for my Glock 19, I need a rattle can. I probably won't rattle can the Glock 19 itself, but as much black as you can eliminate, the better. For specific camos itself, like I said, don't over fixate on like certain things. Just try what you can that works for your area. Now, like I even explained too, some of the hunting camo is actually pretty decent, but you have to be cautious on it on one thing, and that is some of it, and I got an example here, though it looks not bad in some ways, but the problem is with this stuff is that it's printed on and not actually the material itself is made out of the camo. And so the problem that you can run into with some of this is that white in the light, or if somebody's using a flashlight on you, or even NVGs, that white will actually show through and you'll just glow. And also something else to kind of take a note on that too is some of this stuff is like very shiny type of material. You could actually kind of see it in the sunlight when I get it through the trees, but it shines a lot more than like something that's just flat like this old military stuff. So a lot of your like Under Armour kind of slicky material, even though it's comfortable to wear, especially when it's still kind of warm out, this stuff shines and can show up. So that's the main thing. I would be cautious on some of your hunting camo. So I'm not going to discredit hunting camo. Some of it actually, whatever works for you, just be cautious that it's actually like the material is camo and not just printed on like a white material. Another thing to kind of think about, and I kind of said this earlier too, a human face, like we are naturally geared to look for and see other humans. So having certain things covered up will help exceptionally well. So like having your face with like, a neck gaiter or something like that, or even like your hands, like, even like a hand showing out there in the woods is going to really show up. So, these are kind of yellowish kind of gloves, but even that ain't going to show up as well as just like a hand. And I might try to get out of the sun. Try this a little differently, but even that doesn't show up as well much as just this bright hand out in the woods. So take that into consideration. I mean, these were kind of yellowish gloves, and they're my farm do everything gloves, and they work good for that. So, and also with gloves too, it's nice to have gloves just because you might be doing things, and the last thing you want to do is just trash your hands up when you're potentially fighting off the Red Dawn communist invasion or some shit, right? Alright, as you guys can see, I'm wearing just jeans. Obviously, that's not ideal. However, out in the brush and stuff, 9/10 of what you're gonna see is kind of waist high and higher, because there's so much undergrowth that the jeans are not really going to be like the most noticeable thing in the world. And the reason why I'm also wearing jeans is to kind of illustrate something else too. So my top here, I keep this in my car, my vehicle. And the reason why I keep it in there is, and along with my boonie hat and stuff, is because if things go sideways in some crazy way and I have to ditch the vehicle, then I have a layer of camo and a hat that I could just go straight out to the woods with and start to blend in. And your jeans, especially if you're crawling through the brush and the dirt and weeds and everything like that, your jeans are gonna get pretty dirty and they're gonna blend in pretty well too. And so having this with you, you're blending in the main part of your body that's going to be noticeable anyways. Another thing to kind of make mention on the top too, I like to get something. I like generally the old just mil-spec stuff, but I like to get something that is actually a slight bit larger in size than I normally would wear. Like when I was in the Marines, I would wear like a small long, but this is obviously a little big for me, especially like lengthwise and such. But I'm pretty sure it's a medium. But the reason why I wanted something a bit larger than me is, say if it's winter time and I'm wearing like a hoodie or some, you know, warming layers, I can still throw this on top of it and still be blended in pretty well. Alright, so another thing about just like stashing away a camo top in like your vehicle is, say if you have to go transition from, you know, being in the woods to, hey, I need to blend in with normal society at that point, you could always just make sure to carry your concealed carry holster, you know, with you too. But you can transition and just be normal again. Another thing concerning the jean thing as well is obviously, you know, if I was specifically knowing that I'm gonna go out and hit the woods and, you know, it might be like, you know, LARPing or real defensive situation or something like that, and I had time to prep for it, yes, I'm gonna wear camo pants. But that being said, as a Minuteman, sometimes your role is to be able to get ready within like a minute's notice. And so if you're having to like pull your belt off and drop all this other shit out of your pockets and everything and transfer it all over to your camo pair of pants, well, at that point, you're most likely you're not able to get ready at a minute's notice. So having just, you know, a pair of jeans with a camo top might be all you need for the moment. So let's just kind of go over some of the highlights real quick. Some do's is wear just drab, flat colored camo. Ideally, I find that a lot of the military stuff works pretty good, but some of the hunting camo actually works pretty good as well, if you can find it that's not printed. Some other do's is, you know, keep maybe a layer or so in your vehicle so you have it on hand and it's quick and handy. And paint your gear if you need to. You know, if it's not a military or natural type color, go ahead and rattle can it, whether it's your rifle or if you have like a black pouch or a black holster, which I need to do on this. And you know, some of this is self-reflection on my own stuff here too. So rattle can that stuff. Just some of the cheap camo spray paint at Walmart does the trick. Some major don'ts: don't have like shiny gear. So, you know, if you are using like tape to tape off your excess straps or something, you know, rattle can that. Or if you're, you know, don't have a solid black rifle, or don't be wearing like sunglasses that like, you know, can reflect a beam of heaven's, you know, death ray on people or something like that. Those can shine pretty good too sometimes. So just be cognitive of sunglasses. Some, you know, some of them are actually pretty flat colored, so those will work. You know, don't get printed camo that has like a white background, because that white will show through, and especially as that wears out more, then white's gonna like be more prevalent. And you know, just like black, white is not very common in nature either. So another thing to consider with camo stuff is also like reflective lenses. So like your scopes, you know, having some like scope covers or something like that to kind of like block the glare if and when you're not using it, or even something to like cover up your light so like someone else don't beam it or something like that and get a flash or glare off of your light. Now I'm still kind of looking into a solution for that. I've seen few like cheap redneck solutions, and I've seen some like actual products, so I'm just kind of looking into that. And like I said, this ain't like I'm the be all know all guy. I've stipulated this multiple times. I'm just a, you know, retired Marine infantry grunt. Like, that's it. So, you know, I'm not like top tier operator type of bullshit. I'm just more or less a redneck in the woods with some extra skills. But that being said, though, you know, some of this is a self-reflection on some of my own stuff too. Like, I'm constantly looking and changing stuff on my own stuff. Like, okay, I can make that better. I can make that better. So all this is just more so brainstorming for you as well. So with all that being said, be prepared both physically and spiritually. God bless, and carry on.